We've got actress and podcast host Krista Allen, our game Let's Get Effed, and Tinder Gold today on It's Complicated.
You're listening to It's Complicated with your hosts Jennifer Golden and Lauren Leonelli, coming to you live from the AfterBuzz TV studios in Los Angeles, California.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of It's Complicated.
Struggle is real when you're dating in the city.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Lauren, and today our drink of the day is FitVine Wine. That's right, kids. Our guest Krista is an ambassador for this brand, and she claims that you can have a whole bottle of wine to yourself and not get hungover. Not that she's actually done that, or maybe she has, but that's what she claims, because FitVine has a special fermentation process that removes and lowers some of the sugar levels in their wine. So their philosophy is they crush the grapes so you can crush life. Like it, and it's also very good.
Yeah.
And we had this on our Tom Girl interview as well.
Yes.
So we can vouch it's delicious.
Can't wait to have some wine to kick off this day. Guys, like we mentioned, we have Krista Allen in the studio again. Mm-hmm. She's back because we just can't get enough of her pretty face. You know, guys, Krista is the gorgeous model and actress. Best known for her work in the television series Days of Our Lives, Baywatch Hawaii, Married with Children, Friends, CSI, and Two and a Half Men, just to name a few classics. Yeah. She also starred in the movies Final Destination, Liar Liar, and Anger Management.
Oh, that's a lot. So you guys have probably seen Krista on all of those things, but you can most recently watch her on her reality show Growing Up Supermodel on Lifetime. It's on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. This docuseries follows the family dynamics of unpredictable careers of modeling hopefuls whose parents include some of the famous, like actress Shayna Moakler. She married Oscar De La Hoya and had a baby. Actress Kelly LeBrock, actor Steven Seagal, and supermodel Beverly Peel and their children, including Krista and her son. So they're having, they kind of go through like having a recognizable last name is a double-edged sword, and it generates opportunities for the kids, but it also kind of creates expectations that might be hard to reach. So it's sort of, it shows the life, and, you know, I think some people think like, oh, well, they're just so-and-so's daughter or son, so they've got it all made, but it's not always that easy. So, and then for the parents, they discover that being a star is easier than raising one.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
There's a lot that probably comes with living up to expectations, and also, I don't know, just we'll hear more about that, I'm sure. And so while Krista is getting all candid and real on TV, she's also airing it all out on her brand new podcast. Effed Up, It's Funny.
Yeah.
Where you can listen to Krista and her comic and celebrity guests explore their own personal debaucheries while diving into the juicy world of self-help. Each week, you join them in breaking down the chapters of these self-help books that everyone's reading and subscribing to. But are they really all they're cracked up to be? Maybe they're really just effed up.
I don't know.
And it's funny.
And it's funny.
So, guys, if you want, advice, you've come to the right place, because they're the funniest people you will ever get advice from.
That's right. And we know Krista, we know her as the beautiful actress that we've seen all over TV and the big screen. But who is the real Krista? These days, you can take a glimpse into her real life because she is showing it to us through her podcast and her reality show and her stand-up. It does not get more real than that, guys. So we're going to get Krista in here. We're going to ask Krista about her real life, past and present relationships that have a real lasting effect on her, and how she feels her art affects her life on stage and in reality. We also have, it's doggy daycare in here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We've got
pups. Pups galore.
We have Mochi and Zoe in here, and maybe they'll jump in front of the camera at some point. But if you see us wrangling them, that's what we're doing. Or if you hear growling noises, if you're listening, it's the pups.
Yeah.
It's not us.
Or maybe. We'll see.
Or maybe. It depends.
Just depends. But first, guys, before we get into everything with Krista, we're going to fill you in on what we've been up to the last week. So let's air our dirty laundry.
Do it.
I actually, a week ago, had a college reunion with some a girlfriend of mine that I went to college with, and she and I had drinks, and it was so much fun. Then we saw each other the next night for a pop-up shop. Our girlfriends started a swimwear line called Axel Swim.
Wow.
Yes, Anna Ochoa, who we've had on the show before.
Gosh, I didn't realize she was doing that.
Yeah, and so I'm actually having another college reunion tonight with that same girlfriend, Anna, and then another girlfriend who started the line with her. So it's
Fun.
Maybe it's just a standing Thursday night thing. I don't know. So we'll see. Then on Friday night, I had girls' night in. Mochi and I stayed in with Mochi's best friend, Nora, who's another pup, and I babysat.
Just to be not to be confused with the human best friend.
Right,
Nora.
a puppy best friend. And so I babysat the girls, and we all watched Grace and Frankie on Netflix.
Oh, my God.
And by we all, I mean I did, while they were bouncing around in front of me and behind me, and it was
cute.
It was cute. And then on Saturday, I had my own LA marathon, which consisted of yoga, then brunch with you and your boyfriend's daughter and your boyfriend's dog and Mochi.
Yeah,
and
all girls.
All girls earthing. It was really lovely. And then I went wine tasting with 2 more girlfriends. And then I went and watched the fight with a bunch of friends. So that was a long day. It was a lot of fun. And then Sunday, I just sort of like hung out, relaxed. I had coffee with a guy friend who I couldn't tell if he was hitting on me or not hitting on me. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Huh.
But he was telling me about other girls, but he was also making jokes like, that's why we would never work out. I'm like, what?
What are we talking about?
I don't know. I was so confused. So we'll see
weird.
what happens.
Okay, well.
I don't know.
Maybe that's something you can figure out.
I will explore that at a later date.
Yeah, brunch was fun. Later that day, I was shopping with my boyfriend's daughter, and then we did the fight night at his house, and I went shopping and got like all the fixins, and we made like a chili bar for people. And I didn't realize this until I was just thinking back on it. I was there with all guys, and I was like, oh, wait. Oh, I didn't even like really realize that. Not that it's really a thing or not. I just didn't even think about that dynamic at all. But we all my boyfriend turned his backyard into like a bar, basically. There's like a bar and a shuffleboard table and cornhole and a fire pit. And it's like, he's like, I love that I just turned my backyard into a bar. So bar game. So it was fun. We stayed up way late, and I don't know how I did that. The fight was amazing. I really like watching that kind of stuff, even though it sort of stresses me out. I think that it was a nice, like injection of excitement to the boxing world that gets kind of boring sometimes.
Totally.
And then recently there was a back to school night for my boyfriend's daughter, and it was nice that I got asked by some of the room moms to like, oh, do you want to be involved in the room mom activities? I was like, sure. And I totally want to. And now my boyfriend is camping with our friend up in Yosemite, and he has no cell phone service, and I'm watching his dog and his daughter, and I'm like, that's what you do, like when you're in a partnership, and that, sometimes people need to go have their, alone time. He just took a test for a job, and it got him to a new level. And so he studied really hard, and he needs the break. And it's like, I think that's an important thing to pay attention to. We talk about dating and relationships, is that balance and that support. And, it's a holiday weekend, and I am alone with all the things, and it's fine. I have it covered. I'm just saying it's all about balance and support. When I want to have a girls' weekend with a bunch of wine and other things, then he will be there to take care of the things.
Totally will, because that is called support.
And balance.
Yes. So guys, we have a new segment.
Yeah.
You spoke and we listened. Our viewers and listeners have sent us some questions. So we're going to address them in a little thing we like to call We Need to Talk. So our first listener question is from Stephen Freund. The point is that he asked us a question. He explained that he's heard us talk a couple times about the slow burn versus the instant connection, and what he said after having heard an evolutionary psychologist comment on a different podcast called Beat Your Genes. They said that repeat exposure actually, has men and women kind of get to know each other more and like each other more. So it's persistence really that then creates the
repeat exposure affects women like they like men more that they've gotten to know over time.
Right.
This guy is basically saying the slow burn is what works for women, and the lasting effect, like, leaves a lasting effect.
It does now. So Stephen asked us, his question is, how do you decide to continue seeing someone from a first date in an online dating context where there's not the physical connection right from the jump?
Yeah.
And he feels that this is probably a common problem that both men and women face when they're out there dating.
Sorry, we've got
via
pups in here.
dating apps and things like where you're meeting a perfect stranger. So our dogs obviously feel very
Zoe,
strongly
what do you
about
think
this.
about this?
So I'm going to tell you my opinion.
You tell her. I'm going to put her on the couch and maybe we can make her talk.
Great. Okay. So I think that there are certain key things that will make me want to give somebody a second chance. Even if right off the bat, I'm not like super attracted to them. If they maybe have a similar sense of humor, or if they seem like a good match on paper and logically speaking, and I know that I should give this person another chance. If I don't get a visceral reaction from them and feel like I need to barf, that is how I'll know, I could give them one more chance. If they don't make me kind of like feel icky or make me uneasy because of their energy or whatever they're putting out. I think it's
I'm back.
Great. So it's really just a matter of them being a great person and understanding that this could be a good match for me.
Right.
And so then I would give them another chance.
Okay, so you subscribe to the slow burn.
No, not necessarily. I subscribe to giving people second chances.
But okay, fine. Maybe a slow burn sounds long for you, but you
Sounds
subscribe. You like a long process. I mean,
Yes.
but you can be down with not if you don't have an instant connection. You're not like, okay, bye.
Right.
Okay, so that's sort of, and I think that we all look for that. I think that the problem is we all look for that and we all think that that's going to happen and we all have felt it before. So when we don't feel it, we're like, oh, well, that must not, I don't feel that way for him. So, and I think that in my current situation, obviously there was a connection on some level between my boyfriend and I, but I have had other very strong like chemical connections with other people that didn't turn into anything or did or didn't. Who knows? I don't know if the end result is necessarily related to the first thing, but I do know that I can say I felt both. The quick instant attractions turned into nothing.
They do say
coincidentally,
if
and
things
the one,
happen fast, they also fizzle out fast.
yeah.
Too,
So I don't know, but I know that it was a slow burn from my boyfriend and I, and so
I remember actually going back to when you guys started dating. One of the things you said when describing him, you were like, "Well, he's a great guy, and I want to keep seeing him because I know that he is somebody that is somebody I should be with and date, and he's great.
Yeah.
And I know that he's great." So,
and then there was attraction there, but the extreme attraction came with time, which is what this psychologist said. So I subscribe to it.
so anyway, I hope that answers your question, and if not, we could probably just keep talking.
That's right. And let us know. Find us on Complicated Show, like on the socials, and ask us questions.
Do it. And guys, we're going to pack up our emotional baggage and meet our favorite celebs in baggage claim.
Yeah.
So, in relationships, there's often the one person who's a complete wreck, and then there's the one who's the rock. And, they complement each other, and that's lovely. But our wreck of the week goes to Luann de Lesseps, because we all saw her last straw coming from a mile away.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for her, but she obviously just sat down with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, and she talks about the divorce.
Yeah, so she filed, and why she filed finally was because the weekend right before the reunion, and I don't know if you guys watched it, but she did make a comment about how she stayed in a hotel before the reunion, and it was because she found out that Tom hung out with an ex-girlfriend and a group of people.
Which is what Ramona was referring to, I believe.
Yeah, so that she knew that Tom was doing these things, and so finally it was the straw that broke the camel's back, because she only found out through the, I don't know, some news.
Probably page 6.
Yeah.
Like they always fucking talk about.
Right. So basically she was like, I can't anymore. At this point, it's in the news again. And this really happened. And so this was also after she had gotten mad at him at a different point in time where she grabbed his face and they reported that she slapped him. Either way, she grabbed his face. If you're that mad already and you've only been married for 7 months and this guy's got rumors swarming around him and the only reason you got married was to save face, I think it's time we call a spade and sorry you're the wreck, but maybe you'll become a rock later.
Maybe.
Learn from your mistakes,
I
little
feel
Luann.
exactly. And, hey, listen, everyone goes through shit. You got to pick up the pieces and become, find some strength in your weakness or whatever. But speaking of picking up pieces, Vanessa Grimaldi is picking up the pieces because she and Nick how do you say his last name? Vial? I don't know.
Vial?
I don't know. They called off their engagement and she went back to Canada and she's a teacher. And so she's doing all the whatever. She's with her friends and family. And, she is, coming out saying like it's okay to feel heartbroken and it's okay to cry and, go through it. And it's true. You do have to go through it. And then they, also announced like a joint statement that sort of was like, we've decided to end our engagement. And it's all very like politically diplomatic. Like,
I like though that they both went off social media. Like it's not like they were posting that they were the happiest people ever doing whatever they were doing. They weren't like rubbing it in each other's faces. We don't see them with other people.
Yeah.
And I would like to just believe that they're handling this amicably and responsibly and maturely and being careful with each other's feelings. And so that's why she's our rock of the week.
Yes.
Because she's got her shit together.
She's got her shit together, but she's also not pretending that like in her I'm crying, that doesn't mean you're not a rock. It just means you are
owning it.
Owning whatever process is part of the process for you.
Yes.
So also, guys, speaking of Bachelor, there's Bachelor in Paradise. In our reality recap, we're going to get into reality TV land and what we saw this week. Bachelor in Paradise, I can't.
I mean, it is one crazy mess. It's like one disaster after another. So very quickly, if you haven't seen this week's 2 episodes, Jasmine thought she and Matt were like going to be the next couple to come out of Bachelor in Paradise until he then went out with Kristen, who's the virgin, and they also call her scallop fingers because she scallops with her bare hands, which is super fucking weird. So anyway, Matt goes out with her on the most like boring date that has ever existed, and then comes back and realizes I don't like either of these bitches, but I don't want to leave anyone without like a rose because that's rude too, and like one of them deserves
because they
to
get
stay.
caught up in the game. It's just like why The Bachelor works.
Right.
Yeah.
So he actually leaves and then comes back to like present his rose to Jasmine so that she can stay around one more week because she deserves to find love. Which, by the way, this is like all in all, I think like a 4-week process. So to find love that fast and all this stuff be going on, I don't really know. But then Jasmine's on a mission though to like make Kristen's life hell because she goes on a date with Matt and she's like swearing she's going to like cause a ruckus and all she does is go and have a conversation very calmly. And it's like the most anticlimactic bullying ever. And also don't bully people. It's rude.
It is rude.
Otherwise, you have Robbie, who I thought was super hot in like whoever season before. I don't remember who the hell was before.
I don't
but
even, can't keep track.
He is such a tool, and it hurts my eyeballs. But he's now after Amanda, who is with Josh Murray, and they happen to be friends, and it's a whole love triangle there, and like very uncomfortable to watch. And then there's Dean with a love triangle himself. He's like deciding between Christina, who's like super cute from Russia and like really is into him, and then Danielle L, who they call D-Lo.
I know.
He's like, Christina is the one I should be with, but Danielle's so hot. And it's like, well, you're a douchebag and you should end up alone.
They're all just, anyway, we'll just see how it all folds out. But it is just like obviously going to be what it always is every other season. It's just like a bunch of dumb bullshit mess that is not real.
I can't imagine anyone coming out of the season falling in love.
I mean, it has happened, but let's, Anyway, also the Real Housewives reunion just ended. It was sort of, not as crazy as the normal reunions are. It's basically the Bethany and Ramona show. And, I really wish that we had gotten to see Luann's divorce sort of unfold, but it's kind of cool to go back in time and see now that she's going to have this special that she was referring to the hotel that she stayed in and whatever. Real Housewives of Orange County, you guys, Lydia is only 36. And that freaks me out because she has 3 children and is married and has this whole thing. And I'm like, holy shit, she just got 2 cars for her birthday and is being flown in a helicopter to Catalina. And she's like, I'm 36. And I threw up in my mouth a little.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to, and also I'm a little surprised. I mean, it's because she's so religious. I know that sounds like a stereotype, but it's true. That's how most religious people, uber religious people, start their lives. Not all, but most. They get married very young and have all the kids. And but I'm surprised though, because then she was like talking about balls and cutting his balls off, her husband's balls off, and that they want to, have a party, ball voyage or whatever. It's actually kind of funny. Anyway. It's it's getting interesting. Orange County, it can get a little more dramatic. I would like to see that happening, but it's it's good to watch. It's fun. I like it. I like those housewives. All right, guys. let's double tap that app because we have Tinder Gold.
Yes, so you might have had Tinder.
Are you gonna do
you
this,
might have
Jen?
had Tinder Plus. Now you could have Tinder Gold, and I don't know. I think maybe just because it sounds like one more layer of protection and weeding out the bad.
I mean, it's
or
a
the
members,
icky.
it's a members only service, and it like they aim and claim that they're getting you matches just like Tinder, but that it's easier for you. So,
Yeah, because you're paying for it.
Yeah.
So it's got a ton of features that you haven't seen before, like Passport, a rewind feature. You know, like in case you accidentally swipe like somebody's no, but you really mean yes.
Yeah.
And
it
then
happens when you're swiftly moving.
It's very quick. And then unlimited likes. You can have 5. That's not unlimited, but anyway.
yeah.
You could have super likes. You can have
super likes.
a monthly profile boost that like gets you to the first place, or
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. Anyway, so guys. The
Check it
best
out.
one that comes with this is now it's the likes you feature.
Yeah.
So what that is that you can see who likes you before you like them.
Yes.
So you can actually sift through the ones that are already the odds are in your favor.
So your odds are in your favor. Exactly.
and just cut through the bullshit because you're like, well, that's a for
so
sure.
if it intimidates you and you don't want to get rejected, this could be the app for you to pay for, so that you sort of take that out of the game, and it doesn't make you feel like scared or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder how much it costs though. That I didn't get. That
I
far.
don't know, but look it up and check it out and go
If
on
you're
Tinder.
if Tinder's your app, then this is maybe the version you want to get because I mean I would give it a shot just because I feel like Tinder's the OG app.
Yeah.
And now if they're like improving and doing things to like sift
Yeah,
through
it
the
could be
bullshit,
good.
I'm into it.
It could be good.
Give it a chance, guys.
All right, we've got Krista Allen here again.
Hi.
Okay, so Krista, center yourself so that we can see your beautiful face here. Put the microphone. Well, yeah, I'm just, look up there at that camera and find.
I feel like I'm on a leash.
Well, maybe you are,
You
with
are,
the dogs.
like the dogs.
And you can make.
Hi, baby.
Oh,
What's going on, Mochi?
Zoe wants to come next to you too, I think. If you pat the couch, she might come up next to you and cuddle with you.
she'll come up. Come
She'll-
on.
Zoe,
Get up here. Get
jump.
up here. Come
But
on.
Mochi will also try and command all of
Come
your
here.
attention. Yeah,
You
exactly.
go here.
Oh my
and
God,
you go
my
here.
get
God.
Zoe up on camera.
And then
Come on,
I'm gonna have to
Zoe.
take all the photos because
Come on,
this
Zoe.
is so cool.
Yeah, good girl.
There's the
Oh my God, Krista is
Yes.
in it. Look at the babies.
I'm in it to win it.
Oh.
I'm in it to win it, guys.
Krista, look at me real fast.
We're taking pictures. I mean, that is
It's like
the
we're
cutest.
not even doing your show.
It's like, oh, hi, are you guys here? Oh, well, we're worried about Krista and the dogs. Thank you for
can't
coming.
get cuter.
I
No,
mean,
it can't,
thank
actually.
you for coming back again.
Yeah.
We always love having you.
I always love being here.
And
Yay.
we were talking about earlier, like, everyone knows you as, an actress, and like obviously you're playing characters and you're being kind of somebody else. But I think recently, like, you've really opened up to like the real you with the things that you've been doing. You've got a podcast, you're doing stand up, you're on a reality TV show. Like, you're letting people see you.
You're being Krista. You're playing Krista.
Well, right, but I've just never also had that opportunity to do that either.
Well,
but you know what I mean? But
yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's fun. I think with like the comedy and stuff, that's been super fun. It's been a really crazy journey for me though, because what I realized, here's the funny thing is, this is what I'm realizing right now is I wrote a lot of my stand-up from such like the most insecure place because
Yeah.
I thought it would be really funny, and it is.
It is.
But I walk off stage and I go, God, that's not who I want to be. That's like the fear part of me.
Right.
The more I get up on stage and the more I talk about these jokes or being codependent or needy or all these things, the more life imitates art. And then I start to spiral into it. Seriously, he's sniffing her.
No,
She's Leslie. Oh.
Zoe.
It's okay.
Zoe,
Leslie.
you're on camera, Zoe.
Also, Mochi's into it.
Mochi. Oh yeah,
she's
Mochi
fine.
looks totally
She's
alarmed,
happy.
and by not alarmed, I mean relaxed.
No,
Yeah.
These dogs couldn't be happier. Anyway,
Yeah.
so going back to you, the
But
dog
that's-
whisperer.
but
So
that's
you
it.
feel like the more you talked about these truths, because I could see why though you would do that, because if it's something you're feeling at the time and you're kind of poking fun at yourself, because that it is sort of funny
Right.
to make fun of something serious, and so if that's how you were feeling, then that's obviously what you're going to talk about, but then
Yeah.
you feel like it probably became more real in actuality.
Right. Well, the funny thing is I picked something to start stand-up with that was relationship, that was
Yes.
topical, about dating a best friend and not knowing if I should be in that relationship or if I'm staying in it too long based on me not being able to leave.
Right.
And it was all these like insecurities, and that was causing problems a little in the relationship because I started talking about things that were very personal. It was like, you know, and trying to make fun of me on the other end. They're the cutest thing. I can't even
cute.
focus.
Hold on, I'm gonna help you. You keep talking.
Well, you're gonna help me?
Mochi, come. There we go.
Why did you take them away from
Because
me?
otherwise they're going to be the show, and you're the show.
They
it's like too much.
Yeah.
It was too much cuteness.
So we'll just be next to
I
you.
love it. But anyway, so I was like doing all this stuff, and the more that I would get and write this stuff, I would start writing stuff about how I felt, and honestly, I felt crappy. Like, I don't want to think that. Like, I don't want to think that way. They were funny jokes, and I mean, you know, if I do say so myself, they were funny jokes that I thought other people could relate to.
Yeah. I think
and
they
they
probably
can.
could. They probably could.
But at the end of the day, if you're coming off stage and you're like, God, I sound like an insecure,
Or
needy, codependent girl.
Because that's exactly. I'm like, yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of jokes that I had that were very. You know, like I don't know, but just not who I want to be. And then,
Or maybe you just don't want to Yeah, exactly. You don't want to highlight it. Like there's other things that you
There's
can.
more layers to you. So I think if that's probably all you're leading with, then you probably felt like, wait, but now they only think that I'm this versus all these other things I am.
Right. It was good. But I was that at that time.
Yes.
I guess the thing is ever since my podcast and doing stand up, and look, the reality show is a reality show.
Yeah.
And there's really, you know, reality TV is real the way reality porn is real. It's not, but you still get fucked, and that's kind of the way that you see it. So that one is a little bit different. Stand up and podcast, definitely. Like going, how can I get honest, and what can I do? And that's been the funnest part about everything.
Stand up. So you feel like you're more real when you're doing stand up.
I feel like I have a voice to target the things that I want to work on in myself that I think maybe other people can relate to, but I don't want to do it from a victim place anymore, because it actually started to create, like, my boyfriend was like literally looking at me the same way that I was doing stand up. So how can he respect what I'm doing, even though it's funny? There's like a fine line with all of that. And so if I'm just constantly talking about being needy and and like these things, then people can't see you in a certain. It's like
it's defining yourself. In one aspect.
Just because you were on a stage and doing it doesn't. It's no different than like. Even just in your private life, in a relationship, if you are focusing on, I know what's happening, Krista. Unwrap the mic. It's around your.
Oh, I see.
All right,
here,
I'm gonna
fix
it and I'll talk.
Yeah.
So, and I'll talk. Even in your relationship, let's say there's like something that's bothering you.
Yeah.
And you know that there's a part of you that can maybe let it go, but also you might need to talk about it a little bit to work through it. So don't ignore it. But the more you focus on it, the more you talk about it, the more you.
It's all you can get.
It's all you can get.
Prophecy in the same way. It's
totally.
Like it's the secret. It's exactly that way. It's the energy you put out is what comes back.
So you know what? You're ready to let it go. You worked through it in however way you did. It happened to work for your stand-up at that time. Most people in your position would have done that anyway.
I hit a wall. With the stand-up. It is
very funny though.
Thank you. Yeah, you come to see me.
And it's very funny.
But I hit a wall emotionally and within myself going, I don't like this. I did 2 shows back to back last week. Like an 8 o'clock show and a 9 o'clock show. And I walked off the stage and I went, I'm changing my entire set. I canceled 4 shows I had going up, and I'm in the middle of rewriting stuff right now because I'm like, I don't like it.
So hold on. So tell us what exactly you were thinking. You got off the stage after 2 sets and your I don't like it thought was just an overwhelming
just jokes like, look, they're not, I am not going to do it justice because there's buildups, but it's things like, you know, so my boyfriend does this thing. It's really cute. It's really cute. He dresses up like himself and ignores me. and then I play back. I do the same thing. I dress up like myself and give him a blowjob anyway.
Oh God.
So there's like,
role play.
Okay, but that isn't like one of the jokes.
No,
that's the theme of what it is, and
Totally.
it's consistently going, what is wrong with you?
Like, it almost sounds like you have no backbone, and you're like, but I do, because I actually have a lot of issues with the things I'm making jokes about.
Right. Yes. But is it really true? And I mean, I don't know. There were times I just go, where can I find like the you know what? Honestly, they're the easiest jokes to do.
Totally.
And
That's
I
the
think
thing.
that's also where a lot of comedians start is easy jokes.
Starting.
And that's okay because you're playing a character.
They're good jokes though.
Right.
It's just
They're
for
funny.
you. Yeah, for you, it's basically an exacerbation of the truth. Like you find a real issue and then you sort of hype it up a little bit.
And then you hype it up,
and then
you
it
become
actually
that
ends
character,
up
and then you
hyping
believe
up.
it.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that you are an analytical, self-aware person, so you might believe it because you're hearing yourself say it and you're reflecting on who Krista is. Whereas in the world of comedy, a lot of the times when you're watching comedy, you think that Krista Lee is this guy all the time. We're going to just give him as an example because that's the first one that came to mind. But when he gets off the stage, he's also a lot more quiet.
He's so quiet.
He's like reserved. A lot of comedians are very dark, and you wouldn't expect that because you think they're always just making jokes.
Right.
So I think ultimately, while you are doing comedy that comes from some place of truth, it's still, like you're saying, an exaggeration of the truth for the sake of hyperbole and making the point that people can relate to.
Yeah.
But you are you, so you take it a step further and you're like, I don't want to be that person.
So now I mean, without giving things away, obviously, because you're still working on things, like where have you shifted? Where are you going with this, and how is that actually affecting your personal life and your relationship?
I am just now working on this stuff. I just finished filming a movie, and I'm literally leaving next week to go film another movie.
Wow.
And then I have these podcast that I'm doing. I did 2 shows last week, and then I'm trying to do the stand-up, rewrite that. And right now I'm writing premises.
Okay.
Right now I'm writing things like, what are things that bug me about this? Or, there's like this technique where you can bubble and you like put like what it is, like the topic in the middle, and then you make little lines outside and go, this is like outside of that. And then you write like, what do you hate about this? What do you love about this? The hard thing about being in a relationship, or the scary thing, and you go through and then you start to make these premises. So
that's like the process of writing a joke.
wow.
Yeah.
We just learned some major behind the scenes.
Yeah, but then it is, you just kind of get through this whole, like, you just go through it. So I'm in the middle of doing that, but it's coming from a place of, I think where I'm right now I've been through so many shitty relationships, and my thing is I've always been the victim. That's the easiest way to say it.
Okay.
So I've always had this like victim mentality. All guys are jerks, or I'm never gonna come first in any capacity.
Wait, really, Krista? That surprises me to hear you say that.
Well, I think
Every relationship I've ever been in has ended the same.
But how much of it is actual truth, and how much of it
that's
is...
been my belief system.
But what if that's really what's happening to you? How do you tell the difference? What if you are in relrelationships where you're not coming first and you're getting...
Absolutely, because it's my belief system. It's what I'm bringing into my life.
But here's the thing too.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
I think that there's like a middle ground between what you're both saying, because I can see why you're saying that, because we know a lot about your most recent relationship and we weren't there for the ones before that.
Right.
But in terms of your belief system, sure, you might believe that because either it was true or because you believe that whatever. The point is that you've stayed in it. So you believe that you deserve it versus what we see is actually true, because you were actually treated that way maybe in the last relationship.
Right. But
you stayed. So you felt like you deserved it because it's going to happen anyway, maybe.
Okay, look, I've gotten into law of attraction a lot. And people have such a hard time with this concept because they're like, this is ridiculous. But I truly believe that your point of attraction is what you think, and you do create your reality. And it doesn't matter. You may think you're doing great, but if you have subconscious beliefs with resistance attached to them, like, oh no, I'm gonna find the love of my life, but I'm really scared because most guys hurt me. Duh, what's gonna happen?
Of course,
you're literally gonna go point of attraction, and you're gonna there is not one person that I've ever dated that has been a complete jerk. they have acted in certain ways because I've also had a belief system in my we danced.
Yep.
We danced.
You
We
both
danced
played,
hard.
You both played into
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And everybody, there's not one person that I've ever dated that has been a horrible human being. Anybody that I've fallen in love with, they are wonderful people.
But you don't.
know?
But that's what I'm saying, though. You don't actually think you're. I mean, you even know that. So you're not totally victimizing yourself by saying, "Well, these guys." You just made the point. Like, these guys are fucking horrible, and I've been fucked over, and I've
Or
been
is this
left.
because of where you are now in your life?
It's only because of where I am now.
Okay.
I can look back because I would look at other relationships and go, oh my God, he was awful, or whatever. Yes, there were awful things, but you know what? I wonder how, from playing my game, so if we want to be really honest and looking at me and what a typical bitch I was being in terms of, and I say typical bitch, I just read this book called Men Don't Love Women Like You.
We want to talk about that.
definitely.
By G.L. Lambert, and it literally is the harshest book I've ever read, but mixed with the softness and the cush of like Abraham Hicks, and with this, it all kind of came together for me, and I went, oh my God, like I thought I just needed a hug. I needed a kick in my ass.
I love that.
And it's like, and that is literally what's happened. It's making me look at myself and go, oh my God, I've been doing this my whole life, saying that I want something different, but I just keep doing the same thing. And there are red flags.
Okay.
We all do this. You see red flags, you paint them white. You see red flags, you paint them white.
Yep.
And then you go, you stay in this thing when you should have been like, you know what, this just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why? Because as women, all we want is love. We have this thing, and we want it now. We have biological clocks that are ticking. We want to do all of these things that are happening, and women come from a completely different space than guys do. Guys aren't thinking like that.
And you can't be afraid to say that. Like, I had a sort of similar conversation with my boyfriend recently about, steps in life and things. And I even said, I don't want us to make decisions based on, this is happening next month and I'm this age. But at the end of the day, circumstances are real. And I'm also 36 years old. You have a daughter. I don't want to be...
son. Your kid.
Yeah, you have a son.
Yeah.
My boyfriend has a daughter. And I'm like, I don't want to be 41 and having a baby. Like, let's think about... I'm just saying I don't want that. I'm not saying that we need to do it because I have a time clock. Everything needs to come into play. But you can't be afraid to say those things either.
No.
And
that's called vetting, by the way.
Yeah.
That's called vetting. And you both know what you
It
want.
was a bid for reassurance for sure. It was like, so I don't want to know.
And reassure, and that's a thing. But when you're in a healthy relationship, and the thing is, you meet somebody. So this book talks about being a game changer or a placeholder.
Yeah.
And
what is that?
And what I love about this is what hit hard for me. And this is not a victim statement. This is not me. This is me stepping up and going, whoomp, like where's my where my power is. I have allowed myself to be a placeholder in every relationship because of the way...
That's the common denominator for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they end up getting other relationships and, whatever happens. But, you've heard... I don't know that I've done this for people, but there's been a couple of people that I've dated that literally right after I dated them, they went and got married.
Yeah.
And that's a common typical placeholder thing where you give everything and then you're in tears going, but I gave you everything I had. Well, that's the problem.
Right.
You don't do that. And that has been my problem. I literally will bend over backwards and do whatever it is. And that's let's say manipulation tactic, for lack of a better word. Not that I'm consciously trying to do it, but if I love you the way that I do it, I did it, and I do all these things, you're going to do the same thing back.
Sure.
But you can't make anybody
Nope.
change. They got to be ready. And wherever you are in your point of vibration at that time, you're going to attract the person
Yes.
that is going to teach you that lesson. And you're going to play. And it's going to hurt, and you're going to break up. Or somebody shifts, and that person goes, hold on a second, I have a unicorn on my hands. And you shift, and you go, I am all strong, and I know what I deserve.
So you believe you can get into a situation where maybe two people are on two different points of vibration, but if the shift happens, then it can end up sort of lining up.
It has to be.
Someone has
everyone's-
to shift
and
for
everyone's
that to work out.
Everyone's on different points of vibration, I believe. And I've listened to Abraham Hicks. I know that advice.
We send them to each
and
other.
you're right. It is true. And I think everyone's on and that's just, and without even getting esoteric, it's just like, we can say, instead of point of vibration, everybody's different. Everybody's going through their own things. Everyone's on their own timetable.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their own shit.
Yeah.
So that's what we mean by that. And sometimes, there's a process and it feels scary to get into a relationship because you start to see those different levels. Like, I'm here and you're here or here or here or whatever.
Yeah.
And so at some point, the slow burn, you catch up to each other on your own wavelengths.
If you do. Now here's the interesting thing about this too. This
you're making me nervous.
Am I making you nervous?
A little bit. It's okay.
Really?
No, it's fine.
Not me. I just want to know how you even came up with this concept for the podcast because, was it that you realized you needed to start doing the work? So you're like, well, I'm going to go into reading all these self-help books and break them down? Or how did this even come about?
Okay, so I am just a self-help junkie in general, and I can give great advice.
Yeah, for sure. I can attest to that.
Thank you. I can give great advice. I just don't take it as well. I mean,
it's a common thing.
Right? So, like, if you guys saw my Amazon account, you would think I was batshit crazy with all of the self-help books and the titles. It's, it's like crazy. But it's true. And I started thinking, how fun would this be? How fun would this be just to like break down self-help books because everybody's fucked up.
And everybody turns to them at some point.
Yeah. And then what I realized listening to the podcast is literally cringe-worthy moments in my own dialogue of what I'm saying about how codependent I am, or I don't know, I did it, or like whatever it is that I'm saying. Hearing my relationship, hearing what I'm doing and how much shit I'm eating, and going, oh my God, this is happening. Like, I'm letting this happen.
You're able to like sort of step out of yourself.
I'm like I'm my own supporting character in my own movie, but it's like I'm split.
Yeah.
It's like there's a me that's very strong, and then there's this other one that's like, I'm really not too sure. I'm really nervous. I'm really vulnerable.
Totally good. But listen, to give yourself credit, both of those Kristas are really honest.
Yeah, that's very true.
And there's no way that you could step outside of yourself without having that ability to be honest, because you wouldn't even recognize the difference between the two of you.
Yeah.
Because she's multiple personalities.
Right. Which is a different self-help book. I think, what's cool about having a podcast, I guess, in our case, I mean, ours too, because we've been doing this now forever.
Yeah.
But
all of the
we've
years.
grown and changed as it's happening as well. And the great thing is we can listen back and you can listen to yourself and reflect. It's its own version of therapy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is you're actually taking it one step further and acknowledging and trying to make improvements.
I just want to be better. I just want to be the most aligned, powerful, like in terms of just attracting the best life for myself.
Yeah.
That's it. And that comes in people, forms of people and friends, and the people that aren't working, you go, I'm good with this. Like it's constantly about shedding that skin and becoming better and better.
And I
but
think
it starts inside.
A key word there is constant. And also to partner up with that is maintenance. Like, it's not just like, and you, I'm sure, would agree, but for those listening, like, it's not just like, I'm going to do this one time and be good. This is something you will constantly have to do.
Right.
I think if you want to continue to grow and learn and reflect, it's a constant maintenance. In a relationship, it is a constant maintenance. That's why things feel like they sort of go through an ebb and flow, because you're constantly trying to communicate and figure out how to speak with each other and move through the problems, and that it's a constant thing. You don't just like talk about it one time and then you're like, okay, well, that's it.
But and you said something earlier about like you think like you're both going down this thing and somebody's here, but then you think you're going to meet up. That's awesome if you're both like going downstream. But what we do a lot of times as women is we wait and we go, I'm going to hold on to this tree trunk until you join me.
Or you're like, paddling backwards. It's like, just drop your fucking oar and go with the flow.
Just drop your oar, go with the flow. And that's another thing, is like when you're rowing the boat and you're like, no, I'm going to come and get you. And they're,
you're never going to
let go.
Let go.
Right. And you can be like, I can't see you anymore.
Waterfall.
Do you think maybe that part of that is that you're a strong person? Like, you've obviously been through some shit.
I've got to be.
But so you think, or I think, or I've felt in the past for reasons I've stated in things, is that I'm strong enough for both of us. I will help get you to where I am.
It's a control thing,
And
ultimately.
Also, it's like, well, here's the other thing. You're in love. You've already accomplished that. that's a hard thing to get to.
It's a hard thing to let go of because you've been told your whole life that's enough. Love is enough.
That and more in the direction of where we're at right now in the world of dating and relationships. It's fucking hard out there to find anybody that you're even gonna love. Pimp. So like for me, I know that I haven't found anyone I even like enough to go like more than a couple of months of dating.
Yeah.
And this has been now years. So in my past relationship, I was like, well, then I have to start over, and I don't know if I'm going to find somebody, and I already love somebody, so I'm going to make this one work, and I'm going to fit a square peg into a round hole. And I got that one.
I said it because I knew you would probably need help, but you didn't.
I did it.
That's good.
So
that was really
thank you. So, like, I just think that sometimes we as women, we are strong. I mean, they say we are the stronger sex, but we feel that we can nurture someone and help get them there, and we don't want to give up on this thing. And we see the good in you, and it's all of these like weird empathetic things, and we're like, well, they've been so damaged, I'm just going to help them, and I know that they mean well, and it's like we make a million excuses for them.
And that is typical bitch behavior.
And painting the red flags white.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing, and this I keep bringing up this book. It's so good, but I mean, it's harsh. It is. Like, there's some places in there that you're like, ugh, I don't know.
I love harsh, so.
But I respond to harsh, but you should know that going into this, if it's something that turns you off, maybe there's a whole bunch of different self-help, but if harsh speaks to you, then this is the book for you.
Well, here's the thing. It's exactly what I needed. But the thing is, it talks about how most women, not all, because there are some badass bitches out there that are like, I do not have time for that. Hasn't been me.
But I don't know that doesn't make, but hold on though, I don't know that doesn't make you a badass bitch, but I hear what you're saying.
No, I'm talking in pure goddess form of like, I'm going to create exactly, and I don't have time.
Sure.
The minute that something doesn't feel good, it's not about you're a jerk, it's about this isn't working for me because you can't step up to be who I want. And so cool. Who do you want? Because it's your life.
Sure, right.
But what we do is we wait, and we think that by telling guys, I'm different than most women. This is like a first date. Tell me what it is that you bring to the table. And she's like, well, I have a degree in this. I have a podcast. I do this. I do that.
So list of accomplishments.
All of these things, blah, blah, blah. Typical, because we're just like saying all this stuff instead of what we really are. And it says in the book, it's like, guys, you're like a hamburger. Guys see you they know you're going to be on the menu. And it's like when they ask you what you bring to the table, your response is, I am the fucking table. And that is exactly where that goes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So wait, so your response should be I am the table, or that's what we do when it's wrong?
No, we are the table.
Yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying.
But we try to go, I can put this on the table. I can do this and this and this.
I can make the table look really cute with a cute tablecloth, and I can put what food do you like? I can make that for you. I can make the steak. I can be that. Yeah, no.
That's me.
That's
been me.
Oh, I do it too.
That's been me.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. Obviously, when you love somebody, friend or boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, that's a way to show like love and affection, is to get Jen just gave me this beautiful computer
I love
case.
that. I just saw that the other day.
Says she wanted to give me something nice, probably because she thinks I'm the best.
Yeah, she does.
It's true.
So, but
I'm gonna sip the wine now.
Yeah, there's more.
There.
So, but I think
really
that's
good.
okay to do those things. But yes, all while knowing that you are the table.
I think the point is that it's nice to be a nice person and do nice things because you genuinely want to do those things, but it's not something you should lead with because you need validation.
You're right.
You don't want to prove that you're domesticated and that you're going to be the most perfect wife and mother and all these things.
But isn't that where we get it from? We have learned, a lot of us have learned how to be and what a man is and how to be a woman from our mothers, who learned from their mothers, who had the same basic mentality for the most part.
Yeah.
And then we go, the way to a man's heart is through his tummy. Keep him sad, like all of these things that we, or whatever it is.
I hope he knows how to order Postmates.
Yeah.
Otherwise we're going to starve.
And sometimes that's true. Like, my boyfriend happens to like when I cook, and he also cooks and does a fantastic job and doesn't have a problem doing it. He happens to like when I do it, and I like doing it. So it's not even about like, I'm supposed to do this because I'm the woman. Like, I actually like doing it. So, I mean, find your own dynamic. It just happens to ring true with that belief. But
I have a question for you. And
Yeah.
I've been sitting here thinking about it ever since you said whatever I was saying was giving you anxiety. Why?
No, because when you start talking about like, it's just I'm constantly in reflection about what's going on, and I'm over analytical. So I'm constantly
too.
like, well, what does that mean? Well, what am I doing? Well, what did the past mean? My brain is like on overdrive. And I will fully admit that I am over analytical, and I don't always think that's bad. So when someone starts to talk about something and different paths and different levels and where you're, my boyfriend and I are on, we are that point of the energy points are different for us. And that's not a bad thing, but we started out very different too. I was in a different place than he was in a different place. So yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm like, what does that mean? Is that okay?
Mean.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, oh my God, do things line up ever? They do. They most likely, obviously do, or I wouldn't be here, and either would he. But,
you guys communicate really well, and that's half the battle.
Yes, I think we do communicate. Well, he happens to be from my experience, a very good communicator for a male. He has a lot of female energy around him, and I think he's somehow worked with that.
That's so important.
And I recognize
it's like number one.
I recognize it. I mean, sometimes he will, his daughter will be like, Daddy, I hurt myself. And he's like, you're okay. And she's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, you're okay. She's like, you didn't even ask what I did. And you didn't even ask what happened. And 2 minutes before, I'm like making a face at him for doing something about some fucking Facebook post from some stupid person, and I just have to recognize in those moments, like I've out loud been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and he looks like he's about to cry. He's like, I fucking can't with the females and the emotions, and I have to recognize it. But also, we are who we are, and like but he happens to be around it a lot, and his dog is a girl, and he's all of the girls, and so he always says it's my cross to bear. I shouldn't have wished for it all my life. Because, as a man, you're like, I want all the girls.
Oh, that's really funny.
Oh, my God, no.
Be more specific.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing to do with manifesting is being specific. So now, having learned all the things you've learned, and you read a different book every week and cover it on your show, where are you at right now? Like, what's your next book? What's the next goal you want to accomplish with your own self-learning?
I haven't figured it out yet, but you know what? I'm going to say this out loud because I've been thinking about it for a couple of days. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to put it out there. I want to write a book.
About what?
About
this.
Everything that I was talking about. About starting from the place where I was, from my childhood, what happened to me, my subconscious beliefs, the trauma, the things that I went through, how that shaped me and molded me, and how I'm coming out of it, and the truths that within each of these relationships. There's something about it. That's not the angle. But as I was thinking about it, I was like, God, I think just like you, Lauren, like I think about my stuff all the time and I overanalyze it all. So why not put it on pages?
Well, it's also specific to you, but generally going to help so many people.
Right.
That's my goal. So the end goal
and the reason for your podcast.
And the reason for my podcast was that I could connect with women and also men, because there are some men that want to do that, but I'm such a girl's girl. Like
you are.
I don't have many guy friends. I have all girl. I mean, I do, but I don't go hang out with them and be like, let's go have coffee. I would much rather go hang out with my girls.
Says the girl wearing the Star Wars hat.
Is that bad?
No, it's just funny because you're a girl's girl that also likes that kind of stuff. So.
But I think that's why you're also able to have guy friends, and you're not one of those girls that like, girls are patty. I can't.
No, I want to inspire and empower women in such a way that it really is. I look at stuff and I right now, I will tell you something. I'm at a place right now where I feel a little bit more harsh in terms of my thinking because I'm a little angry.
That's okay.
I'm a little angry with what I've allowed.
Yeah, sure.
And where I was, but inspired at the same time. So there's like an engine on both sides of the train, and it's like,
but that's good. You have to move through what you're going through, and anger is part of the process of letting go and grieving something, and then but using it to your advantage, which is great.
I will say that that's what I went through too after my relationship. That was like, I looked at myself and I was like, I'm so embarrassed by my own behavior. And this is why at some point you and I had talked, and I gave you the advice I gave, and it's super harsh. And the way I directly give information is very much like, don't do this thing. A, I lived through it, so just don't do what I did. And B, trust me when I say this because I care about you. So it comes from both those places. I've lived through it and I care about you. So I relate very much to a harsh book. Now, not the one we read, which was the subtle art of like
That one was-
not giving a fuck.
I didn't like that one.
No, but when
You're
it's-
gonna love this one.
Yeah, I'm sure, because I think we're both on the same page where it's like, no, just no.
Yeah.
And it gets you to the end where
Much
it's all
quicker,
about
I think.
manifest. It's all about manifesting, and it's all about looking at yourself in the mirror. And he's literally like, you have to look. This is not the right look today, but he's like, you have to look in the mirror and say, you want to fuck yourself. Is basically what he's saying every day.
So that direct.
And I was like, this morning, I was like, I'm gonna not do that today. But no, I had insomnia last night. I only slept for 2 hours. So.
Well, you look amazing.
Still look.
But
Well,
so-
that because I have a hat and sunglasses.
No, you look great. But
mean-
so going back to like something being that harsh and direct, it's obviously not for everybody, but if you need a slap in the face as far as like to kick yourself into high
kick in the
gear,
butt.
Yeah.
then I think maybe this makes sense.
It's like a velvet hammer.
Oh, I love that so much.
I know, it's like very
velvet
like
Because
sexy and
as
sassy all in one.
much as he is harsh in he says the F bomb a lot.
Love
like,
it.
As I was saying when he says the thing, like
P word?
Yes. Yeah, all
Pussy?
women are pussy until proven wifey is part of the.
Oh.
Yeah, it goes pretty. Yeah,
No, I'm listen. I'm not bothered by harsh language. I
Yeah.
respond to it.
I would like to know though if there's this book for men too, because like I think someone needs to really whip them into shape also.
Well, he does have there are parts of this that if a guy read this book, he has a blog. So it's I think it's Black Girls Are Easy is his blog. And or
Okay.
something like that. I think that's what it is. And he's like, fellas, da 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 da. Like he'll get into it. He's awesome.
Oh, God.
And
I wanna read it.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much.
Can't
I'm
wait.
such a big
Ordering
fan of
today.
this guy. He also has a book called Hoe Tactics, which I haven't read yet.
Oh.
Yeah, like no, he's awesome. Do I get like a commission on his book sales?
I think you should.
Maybe.
Okay, so one more time, the book and the author.
What's it called?
It's G.L. Lambert, and it's called "Men Don't Love Women Like You."
And Krista
That's as
goes
direct as
over
it
it on
gets.
her podcast.
I do.
and
That's my
yeah.
last podcast I just did, episode 6. I
Yay!
had Chris Red and Jasmine Waltz on. It was fun.
Okay, well, before we let you go, we're going to play a really quick game.
The quickest.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So Labor Day is this weekend, which means it's the unofficial end of summer. So many celebrities have coupled up during like
Summer
summertime,
romance.
and we've been hearing about all these people that you're like, oh, those two, really? Okay, cool. Well, we want to see if these people can stand the test of cuffing season, which is when people like either really
During the
do
holidays.
get together, or if they split up because they're like, well, I don't want to give that person presents and stuff, and it's going to be awkward, and I don't
Yeah.
really want to bring them home to my family. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is a real thing. So we're going to ask you if you think two people are a match. And if you do, you're going to say, fuck yeah. And if you think they're just a fling and it's going to fizzle, you say, fucked up. In a
Okay,
game
let's go.
we like to call Let's Get Effed, inspired by your podcast.
Oh,
Yes.
my God. See, I'm already having inspiration. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so
Yeah.
here we go. What do you think? Fuck yeah if you think they're going to last, and fucked up if not. J-Lo and A-Rod.
Fucked up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She,
All right.
she goes through them.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that path before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian and Eunice Benjamin.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
Because who the hell?
Kate Hudson and Danny Fujikawa.
Don't know.
Yeah, but
let's-
Kate Hudson.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I adore her. She's like such a free spirit, but I'd say fucked up because
Yeah.
like she's gonna. But maybe she's at the point that we all are
Right,
now, where she's
maybe.
getting to know
Yeah,
herself. So
okay.
I
and
love
maybe
that.
there's like a point of attraction, and it's gonna
Right.
be love forever.
Yeah.
Forever and ever. What about little Brooklyn Beckham and Madison Beer?
Don't know.
But
I
I'm
love
gonna say I'm
guys.
just gonna interject and say fucked up because they're so young. Like really,
That's what
Yeah.
when you said little da 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 da.
Yeah.
I don't even know who these people
I
are.
love
Brooklyn
the
Beckham
yeah.
is the
Beckham
David Beckham's son. He's like one of the older ones, and he's
Oh,
dating
okay.
some singer.
Yeah,
that they're
he used
like
to date
19.
Chloe Moretz.
Oh, then they're just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
he's
too
like
young.
19 or something. Okay, how about this one? Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon
Again.
Oh, that would be cool. I would like to see that happen.
Do you subscribe to the if it's already you've already been broken up? Why?
You
get
know
back
what?
to-
You could, yeah. People, I know people that have done that. I always want the happy ending, and they seem to really love each other. So I'm gonna say fuck yeah on that.
Okay,
one.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Naya Rivera and David Spade.
I don't know who
She's from
Naya
Glee,
Rivera
and he's
is from
David
Glee,
Spade.
and he's David Spade.
I don't know who Naya Rivera is. Who is she?
Young.
She's like
She
a
was-
young actress that
She was
had a
with Big
baby,
Sean. Then she married some other dude.
had a baby, and is divorced. She's like 30 something, and she was on
Maybe
Glee.
just 30.
She was on Glee.
I don't know. I would probably say there's not a lot of longevity. So fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How about guess who's back again? Chris Pratt and Anna Faris.
Yes, can we please like have them be together
I
forever?
know.
Could we just vote that works out?
Can
I
we
hope
just have
so.
them be together
Let's all say
forever?
fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Okay,
They're going
good.
to couples counseling, which, by the way, I feel like they should have just tried that first and then released the statement after.
Right.
Well,
I think I need to have them on my podcast.
Oh my
You
God,
should.
for sure.
We're gonna read a
them,
book.
so-
Let's do it. Okay, guys, Krista, thank you so much for coming in. Remind everyone where they can listen to your podcast.
Well, you could. It's so effed up. It's funny. And you can listen to it on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast.
and they can
Yeah.
follow you.
Krista Allen XO on
On all
Twitter,
the things.
Instagram,
All
on
the
all
things.
the things.
All
Wait,
right,
and then
great.
when will you be performing comedy again?
I don't know. I'm gonna finish this movie and then I'm gonna write some new stuff and I'll let you know. But it's probably gonna be at least a month out.
Okay, and the
Yeah.
reality show is on Lifetime Wednesday
Reality
nights.
shows on Lifetime. I'm doing it with my son. My son
Yes.
is 20. His name is Jake. It's awesome. It's super fun but weird. And
As reality TV
and
is.
yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, Lifetime.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
coming in
having me,
again.
guys.
And don't forget to tune in next week for our favorite sparkly unicorn, Jake Dupree. We are so excited to have him in. And
We're going to squeal a lot.
yeah, and there's going to be glitter everywhere. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Complicated Show,
And where can people find you, Lauren?
at Lauren Leonelli on all of the things.
And you can follow me at Jennifer Golden on all of the things.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Love you long time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.